That make sense? And if you remember what this thing looked like, we started with that. I mean, it's amazing there's a picture in there, right? If this is a JPEG image, if that was a JPEG instead of a RAW, that would be kind of ridiculous. So, all right. Questions about noise reduction? I'll still talk about sharpening, but questions about noise reduction? Any?
Not specific about noise reduction.
Cool. All right, then sharpening.
But they may come, now that you've said that, yes.
Well, I know. Well, then next will be sharpening. Let's see here. Under the same detail tab, we have sharpening. I've already mentioned that we have a masking setting. And I usually change the masking setting on most images, especially any image that contains noise. And I'm just looking for usable detail. And usable detail, what I mean is real detail, where you can see the texture of something instead of just being smooth blue sky. So up here, I see just smooth blue sky. I see usable detail just about everywhere else. So I can go to masking, hold on the Option key, and click there, and make sure that that sky is turned black, but we still have the white on the stuff that's usable. If you have a close-up portrait of a person, I would possibly bring this up farther to try to get the majority of their face to look black, but maintain the little white lines around their eyelashes, their lips, their nose, and all that. And by doing so, I can keep their skin much smoother than I would otherwise have, because any area that turns black in here will not be sharpened. So if this was more of a fashion image, I would probably be up higher like this. These people, I'm thinking that they don't need to have the beauty skin going on. So I might just say, fine, mainly don't sharpen my sky. Okay? So that's masking. Then we have a mount and radius. A mount, what happens is, when you sharpen an image, it's going to add, it's going to look at where a bright area touches a dark area. And it's going to consider that to be detail, where a bright area touches a dark. It wants to make that detail stand out more, and the way it does it is right where the two touch, it will end up darkening the darker shade and brightening the brighter shade to make it more obvious, the difference between the two. It's not dissimilar to what we did in curves, where I added two dots and I moved one up and one down to say brighten the bright stuff, darken the dark stuff. But it's doing it in a very small area. The amount slider controls how big of a contrast boost there will be right on the edge of those objects. So if I bring up the amount higher and higher, you'll see more and more of it. The problem is it's going to do that to just about everything. And if you have any noise in your picture, I don't know if you can see right about it here, watch what happens when I bring my amount up. Can you see the noise being exaggerated? Then we have radius, and radius means how much space can we use for that sharpening. If I have the edge of an object and I'm going to work right around the edge, darkening one side of that transition and lightening the other, should I do it with 1 pixel in width? Should I do it with 5 pixels? Should I make 10 pixels? The bigger it is, the more it looks almost like a glow around the edge of something. And so there are two general approaches when sharpening. One is to keep the radius low, and then you can get the amount relatively high. That's good for images that don't contain a lot of noise. The other is to get the radius to be really high. Unfortunately, in Lightroom, you only can go up to 3. I mean, I'd like 20. And then use a small amount. And by doing so, usually you'll find that noise won't be exaggerated as much. I don't know if you can see the difference right here where this texture is. Right now I can see the little folds that are in the fabric in this area. If I have my radius up and then I'm just bringing my amount